Good evening, friends. Welcome to another episode of Global Women in Leadership Conversation Series. I am Aparna G. Kumar, the Global Chairperson for Women Entrepreneurship and Empowerment of GCPIT and your host for the evening. Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World. This is the theme for International Women's Day 2021. Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade, GCPIT, has started this global conversation series with women achievers and leaders to understand their journey, to learn from their experiences, and also to pave the way for more women leaders to join the wagon to create a sustainable change in the society in terms of gender equality, diversity, and inclusion. We have a very special guest with us today to talk about her leadership journey. She is a healthcare executive, futurist, and globalist who is highly dedicated to digital and ethics advocacy. She is a passionate educator and entrepreneurship ecosystem builder, known as an expert speaker, board advisor, and consultant. Throughout her career, she has received several awards for excellence in research, teaching, or leadership. This past year, she has been named one of the top 100 global healthcare leaders, top 100 global finance leaders, and top 100 women in crypto, and appointed to the board of UN Legal and Economic Empowerment Network. She is currently serving as the country director for WBAF USA, senator of WBAF, faculty member of the WBAF Business School, Division of Entrepreneurship, and teaching the Executive MBA Business Technology course at the Business School. She is also acting as a Chief Ethics Officer for GBA Global, Senator, and as the Chief Quality and Safety Officer at Mednax. In this capacity, she provides oversight for all quality and innovation initiatives across the enterprise, such as telehealth, blockchain, AI, genomics, precision medicine, population health, medical simulation, and value-based care. Additionally, she provides leadership to the Mednax Center for Research, Education, Quality, and Safety. Additionally, she is an honorary advisory board member of several companies, as well as an editorial board member for Frontiers in Blockchain, a member of FinTech Experts League, as well as the ambassador for several international not-for-profit organizations, most notably Blockchain in Healthcare Today, Inspired Minds, and Women in AI. She is now one of GCPIT's 100 chosen global women leaders and also the winner of Global Women in Business Awards 2021. Let me proudly welcome Dr. Ingrid Vasiliu-Feltes to the session. Welcome, Dr. Ingrid.
Thank you for that kind introduction. It's a pleasure to be here.
First of all, congratulations on being one among the distinguished recipients of the World Excellence Awards announced at the World Business Angels Investment Forum 2021 Congress. You won the Best Business Women Role Model demonstrating social show entrepreneurship, right?
Yes, thank you.
Where all this journey began.
Well, it began almost a year and a half ago. I started to be part of the faculty for the World Business Angel Investment Business School. And then little by little, I learned more and more about the opportunities that the World Business Angel Investment Forum offered for advocacy and education. And I became involved with the Global Startup Committee, as well as with the Ethics Leadership Committee and with the Science Committee. So that's how I started to increase my reach and had the opportunity to collaborate with wonderful colleagues across the world. And we were able to launch some new initiatives this year. So as everybody knows, the pandemic caused tremendous challenges, but also offered tremendous opportunities for us to collaborate across the globe. And for me, that was a beautiful experience to meet new friends, new colleagues that otherwise I would have never been able to work with. So.
Right, that was an amazing opportunity. That's how we also met, right? I think this award was announced yesterday or?
Yes, yesterday in the morning. It was a surprise for me too, so I was totally caught off guard.
Congratulations once again. And before going into the next question, I saw that you had mentioned in LinkedIn about the phenomenal surprise closing remarks by Stephen Hoffman at the World Business Angels Investment Forum 2021 Congress closing ceremony. you had written that he spoke about human transformation as an essential and complementary aspect of global digital transformation. So I was curious to know more. So can you just share a little about it?
Sure. So even those of us who were organizers did not know. That was a total surprise from our executive chairman. And the main purpose was to highlight that we cannot forget human involvement and human capital in whatever we embark on when we try to reshape the global economy. So yes, the whole Congress focused on business opportunities, growing angel investment networks, reshaping the digital economy, strengthening entrepreneurship around the world. But if we forget the human capital, it's not going to work. So Stephen Hoffman's point was that human transformation has to be synergistic and synchronous with digital transformation. But he also cautioned that we have to be very careful because the human transformation can also unfortunately bring about negative consequences. And he gave examples of latest technologies that are being deployed for human brain interfaces, and of course the danger of hacking and the danger of losing your digital identity or it being manipulated. So the overarching theme and my takeaway was that, like with everything in technology, progress is good, but having ethical governance is really important, and a human-centered design to make sure that we understand the human-centered aspect in everything we do. So I think it was a great finish to a week of highly business-focused meetings.
And I can see that in your profile, most of the like you are focusing more mainly on ethics, right? So how much do you think having being ethical is important in, especially in leadership?
Well, obviously, being the chief ethics officer for the Global Blockchain Association, we're in 90 chapters across the world. It's something I believe in deeply. And I like to explain it in three ways. One domain, like you said, I think from an ethical leadership perspective, we have unique challenges in the digital era. What used to be working many years ago is still valid, but we had to add additional elements that now are required in a digital era. Then the second domain I like to highlight is that due to all the emerging technologies, we have now the digital applied ethics domain that is so important. And I'm doing a series with Dr. Jane Thomason on that to highlight all the intricate and complex elements that we have due to the digital era, right? Applying data governance and embedding ethics into the fabric of all emerging technologies is really important. And third, very important as well, is an ethical social governance, right? The way we govern our global efforts will be important as a society and for humanity. It can go very quickly the wrong way if we don't start all working together. And the pandemic was a great example. I recently had an opportunity to speak on the impact of COVID-19 on human rights, and it doesn't look too good. There are many articles published on that it highlights that we have to do a better job moving forward. So those are the three large, very high level domains that I like to think about ethics and why I'm such a passionate advocate for ethics.
That's amazing to hear, especially in this time. Ethics really, it's a very important thing to be talked about. And you had also shared an article which interested me, saying how social enterprises can change the entire industries. Right, most of the time, social enterprises or social it is considered as not being profitable, or so. In this time, see, especially the example of Choco Lonely, right? I found it really interesting. Can you share a little bit of that?
Yeah, actually, I'm writing an article on that now. So thank you for the opportunity to share some of my thoughts. I think what we've seen over the last 2 years was a clear trend towards social innovation, social entrepreneurship, investing with more social consciousness. But I think now we're at the crossroads where investors and the whole ecosystem of investing stakeholders will have to prove what they're doing. It's not enough to just say that you're advocating for it. It's not enough to just say that your purpose is aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We're at the phase now where we need metrics that are aligned with Sustainable Development Goals. We're at the stage now where we need to be able to monitor how do organizations practically translate their statements into the fabric of their organization. And I think we're going to see some challenges there, because it's easy to just support and and advocate for something, and much harder to change the way you run an organization, the way you balance the financial revenue with the impact revenue. And there are some recent very good reports published by the World Bank, by the Schwab Foundation, by several other major financial institutions that are worth reading. They all highlight that there is a clear trend towards improving the way we govern organizations, and to start embedding some of these sustainable development goals and ESGs into the analytics of companies. But we're really in the infancy stage. We have a lot of work that needs to be done. So I think, yes, because of the pandemic, I do think that social entrepreneurship and social innovation are on the front agenda now for most organizations, and I hope that it will translate into actionable items too.
Really, that's exciting to hear. And all these activities take a lot of time, right? How do you balance work and life responsibilities? And especially, I read about Ikigai. So, finding your Ikigai. So, can you please share what exactly is Ikigai and how do you practice that?
Sure. Well, like we always say, balancing in my mind involves, I just see a scale like it's either one or the other, and I don't think that works, because we have so many things we need to balance, right? And personally, I think I shared before that Ikigai is a better concept because it's described as multiple overlapping Venn diagrams, right? And that, I think, is a better representation of how our lives look like. It's not just personal and work, because we do so many things. So health is important too. What's meaningful for society versus for ourselves. What gets you money versus what gets you your soul fulfilled. What is good for long term versus short term. So all those elements are very important, right? So when we think like that, I think the concept of Ikigai is a better one, to harmonize all the things that are important to us, because it allows multiple domains to interact in a complex way, as opposed to just say, well, it's either life, personal life, or work. I don't think that has worked for me. It's much better to think about it in a more complex way.
Okay, and as a female leader, do you think you faced any significant barriers in your life?
Well, who doesn't face barriers in their life? I do think, though, because we talk about women leadership, given that I have a passion for emerging tech, I can share that it has been challenging many times, because I definitely had to obtain more certifications than some of our counterparts. I definitely had to answer much more questions to prove that I was qualified. And many times, yes, there are those kind of anecdotes that I think we all can share. At many conferences, I was, out of 3,000 people, the only female many times in the room. And they all asked me to start the PowerPoint, thinking that I was the host or the organizer. And then they were surprised to hear that I was the speaker or the chair of the conference. So I think there are obviously stories that we all can share, but I think it can happen to anybody. I think we can all work towards improving those kind of barriers and stigmas. I think with emerging tech, it's probably a little tougher. Like, for instance, quantum is a great example. When I started with blockchain and AI and nanotech, it was the same thing. Now I'm facing a little bit similar situations with quantum, but I'm resilient and I'm prepared for it. So little by little.
I think the pandemic has taught us that the women face same problems across the globe, right? And
Yes.
you are an inspiration for many. And who was your inspiration in your journey?
Well, I do have many, but in the professional realm, there was one of my professors in the business school that I think had a profound impact on me in terms of also managing what you asked before, the ikigai aspects. And she showed me that you can do it all, that you don't have to give up anything. And more importantly for me, she encouraged me to believe in my grand visions, because until then, everybody had always told me I think too big, I should just focus on one thing instead of so many things. And I said, but all are important to me. I don't want to give up anything. So she was one of the major mentors that did not try to change me and tried to help me achieve something that was in line with my personal vision and my personal mission in terms of professional career and personal life. So that was. In terms of other more well-known role models, I do have several international ones, such as the president of the European Central Bank. I think she balances professional skills, but also with a strong leadership style and integrity and firmness. And I think she shows that leadership is not easy. You need to have tough conversations and you're going to take a lot of punches. So I think that's a lesson that I had to learn too.
Right. And when we are talking about mentors, how much do you think the role of a mentor is important in the leadership journey?
I think it is very important. I do also believe, which is rare that you're going to hear this probably shared. I think the wrong mentor is also bad. So if you have to have a wrong mentor, then better none. If you have the right mentors that don't try to just apply something that doesn't fit to you, then I think it's very helpful. And for me, again, it was helpful. I think you can learn from everybody, but I think the tiny danger is we need to be careful not to try to copy other styles, because that will not work for us. And I think that's where sometimes there is a little confusion or friction in mentorship. So I always encourage everybody, try to find a hybrid between what you learn from mentorship and coaching, but then don't become someone that is a copy of someone else. You need to be true to your personality and your vision and mission.
Yes, and when we are talking about leadership, what do you think are the three major traits a leader should possess?
I am pretty consistent in this answer whenever I have an opportunity to share. We already alluded to one earlier when we talked about ethics. So I do think integrity is very important. I also, in the last 30 years, noticed that intellectual curiosity, being a lifelong learner and wanting to understand how everything around you works, is also important, because you sometimes don't know when it will come handy and how it will help you make decisions. So I do believe that those two are very strong, like the integrity and intellectual curiosity. And then the third one, I also alluded to it, is resilience. I was told very clearly that life and professional career is like a boxing match, and you just have to get prepared for the next round of punches. So I think definitely, particularly for entrepreneurship, resilience is very important, not to give up easily, because otherwise it's not going to work.
And do you think there are common threads from the backgrounds, experience, and skills of current women leaders that future women leaders can learn from and to inspire their own global goals, leadership journeys?
I actually believe the three I shared are universal, and what I like about them is they also transcend cultural differences, right? They fit everybody, and I do think they also fit almost any industry. You need integrity to be successful in any industry, right? And in any continent you live in. And also, same thing, resilience is a trait that has served us well for thousands of years. And then I do think that intellectual curiosity also can help anybody for future generations as well. So I do believe that they fit everything, not only the traits for now, but also for future generations.
Right. And what do you think those actions, what actions can both men and women take to number of women to lead on the global goals from across sectors and industries, including business, government, academia, and civil society?
I mean, obviously, there's no easy answer, but I'm a big advocate in education, and I do believe it starts literally in preschool. It's super important. That's how you really can influence the future and build a sustainable model. yes, we can do a lot of helpful things later on in the stage of our careers too to help. But I think if we start with changing the education system and redesigning, rethinking how we want to influence children's thinking process, then we can actually do a good job and see the benefits for the next several hundred years. So I always try to emphasize that I don't think there's any other more important element. All other things are complementary, but reshaping or disrupting the current educational system is something essential in my mind.
Yes, then I totally agree with you. And what advice would you give to the next generation of female leaders?
I do think that it's important that they don't believe in any bias or stigma that is being told by them by anybody. I think they should just make up their own mind what they like, what they want, because I don't think any of the standard previous things we were ever told really apply. I've seen plenty of examples in my career where all those biases and stigmas were completely dispelled over and over and over again. You just need to keep your eyes open and you'll see a lot of examples where anybody that wishes to achieve in a certain career, as long as you educate yourself, stay healthy and have the right, like we said, education, coaching, mentorship, there should not be any barrier that's imposed by others. So that's my advice, and that's my advice for men too, actually. So
Right, and I think we are coming to the end of the session. I have a lot of questions to ask, a lot of things to learn from you, but I would like to ask, how do you feel being in the list of GCPIT's 100 global women leaders?
well, I was very honored and humbled when I found out, because when I look at all our colleagues, we have so much collective energy, passion, power, and opportunity to impact everything together. I strongly believe that all of us together can actually move the needle. So it's always nice to see that you have like-minded, not only colleagues, but I feel like in the future we can also meet and we'll be having new friends.
Right, right. Yeah, actually, the amazing work you have been doing, you truly deserve this. And yeah, as you said, we will surely meet someday once this
Thank
pandemic.
you for the opportunity.
And we are celebrating the Global Women in Trade Summit 2021 on March 5th, 6th, and 7th, where women entrepreneurs and leaders will be connecting to explore the next level of growth. And March 8th, on International Women's Day, 100 amazing women will receive the Global Women in Business Awards 2021. What message would you like to give for Global Women in Trade Summit 2021?
I do believe that's one domain where, same thing, if we collaborate, share a common mission, we can actually impact things that are meaningful in business to women. So I have a very important message that we all have to align, collaborate, and break all the geographic boundaries.
Thank you so much. And congratulations once again, Dr. Ingrid. It was
Thank
amazing
you.
talking to you, and it was great to have you with us today. Really enjoyed the conversation with you. Wish you all the
Thank
best for the future and your projects as well.
Likewise. Thank you.
And thank you, dear audience, for being with us till now. We'll be back with another powerful global woman leader. Stay tuned. If you think you are an elite performer and looking for exponential leadership, join us. For all the information, visit gcpit.org. This is Aparna Kumar signing off. Stay safe. Good night.